So we were open to that, and we supported him in his efforts to get us to provide the information that was needed. This is really hard for me because I am, like a lot of entrepreneurs, I'm a lone wolf. I think I do my best work by myself, usually in my robe with a cup of coffee early in the morning or late at night. It's hard to get out of oneself and let other people tell you what's wrong, or more so, tell you how you could be doing things differently. And the ability to accept that is very difficult. This morning at 6:30, all of our Facebook pages were repainted and a website was launched. We have a serious business problem in September, October, and early November in the restaurant business in Jackson, Mississippi, and I would argue it anywhere in the South unless you have a major university in your city. And by major university, I'm talking one that's got a population of 15,000 or more kids. Football season and back to school kills dining out. And then you get the double whammy of the fair, and when you're in Jackson, et cetera. It's a terrible, terrible season. We wanted to do something to try to move the needle. We've been at this for 16 and a half years. We wanted to see if there's some way we could push back at this, which will be a micro-recession, this little problem that happens. We are very fortunate to have Andy Chapman and Mariana Chapman, who are local folks who are two of the brightest people in the world of social media marketing and message creation marketing, and they are on our team. And I asked them to help me with this, and then like a fire hydrant, they started, coming up with amazing ideas and all these things and all these tasks that I had to perform, which I did poorly and in not a very timely fashion. And it's very difficult to deal with when you're, again, at the top of the pyramid, you're running a business, to deal with the guilt and deal with the stress because, very quick aside, 3 restaurants, 180 employees, 22 managers, an intimate customer-based situation where it is all about the transaction that's happening right now in the line at Broad Street, the lunch that's about to start in 45 minutes at the other 2 restaurants. It is a lot of pull. And so I can always make excuses about why I miss a deadline. And then, I'm a little bit manic, and so I'll get involved in 9,000 things in community as well, and so you get pulled aside. I do have a wife, and I'm 24 years, somehow that she stuck with me, twin girls that are 14 years old this past Sunday. It is difficult, but I want to point out that because I became a little bit vulnerable, and because I was honest about my shortcomings, these 2 folks, Andy and Mariana, literally last night picked up the ball and rolled with it for me and did it for me. And if anyone was to go to the shameless promotion plug here, whenyourteamwins.com, that's whenyourteamwins.com. If you check that website out or any of our websites or our Facebook site, you'll be pointed to this, and you're going to see one of the most, this is one of the most holistic marketing campaigns we've ever done. It involves broadcast, print, social media, and interactive gameplay, scavenger hunts, nominating people for awards, coaches and players. Every week, a coach and a player somewhere in the state's going to get a $50 gift card from us, and they're going to be feted. Bringing your tickets in from the previous week's game, coming into Broad Street, showing your tickets, and getting an instant discount on the spot by pulling a prize out of a prize football helmet. A lot of fun, interactive games to drive business, drive community, good feel about us, and also to keep us top of mind awareness. Couldn't have happened if it wasn't for my being vulnerable and saying somebody else probably has a better idea. So as we have less to work with, there are ways to do more by working with others. That's my quick business story, and very quickly to kind of just pan this out, I made some notes here to let people think about how we can pattern this in our lives. This concept about working together, about being vulnerable, about asking others to help and let other people helping you carry the water. Internally, obviously the workplace systems, this dance performance that we had, which was truly extraordinary, that's like another day at the office, isn't it? Everyone jockeying for position. What can we do in our workplace to be able to change the reality and work with people? I find myself, I sometimes if I get prejudiced against an employee, and particularly a manager, because of behavior or because of what I perceive that they are not doing or what they're doing against us, I can create an enemy back and forth with that person. That is extremely unhealthy to everyone, and that's not working together. In our family systems at home, do we have adversarial relationships with our spouses, with family members, with our children? Externally, you know, it's a mind blower to say that your vendor can be your partner. But vendors talk about it all the time, but there are ways that truly vendors can become partners to you. You've got to figure out how to be, to make that work and make sure they don't take advantage of you, because some vendors don't get it, but some do. Customers can be amazing partners, especially, when Monique mentions Facebook and the like. To have a customer put out a comment about you into the world of the internet that is positive and push that through for you is a real gift. It's word of mouth taken on a global stance. So how do you leverage that? How do you let folks, how do you help your customer help you? Competitors. I will be talking to Monique about having a trolley progressive dinner between one of our restaurants, your restaurant, and one other restaurant. And we get the Fondren Express trolley to do that. That's something that just came to me when we're talking about, how do you do things? This is the high tide rises all boats, and that will be an extraordinary experience for the 25 people that we get on that trolley to be able to spend an evening going around the city and eating at 3 different places. High five on that. There we go. And it's because I was listening to what she said. Community, and this is where I'll wrap this up, because this is where I've had the biggest satisfaction in the last 2 years. I live in Fondren. I've served on the Fondren board for 10 years. There's a real renaissance going on there. It's extraordinary. I tell you what's really extraordinary is driving down State Street right now. When you leave today, you better do it today because they're locking it down tomorrow. You drive down State Street and you take a look at those storefronts in the Central Fondren Business District with all those amazing 1960s signs they put up. It's what it should have been all the time. I hope we get to keep them. They're filming The Help in Fondren tomorrow. So in community, we're an amazing neighborhood, and it's a broad-based neighborhood. Purposely, this neighborhood plat was put together to be from the stadium to Northside, I-55 to Mill Street. It's a very, very economically, racially, and zoning different city. Different plat. You've got industrial, commercial, and housing. And housing is both single family and apartment. So there's a lot of different interests. There is a tremendous amount of dysfunction within Fondren, ladies and gentlemen. There are fiefdoms, there are control points, there are people that do not want you to get involved with their neighborhood association component. And there's so much pride of authorship and ownership, and this is my idea, and if it's not invented here, we're not going to do it. We've worked really hard, a task force of us, to try to break some of those down, and we're so thrilled at how we were successful. 2 years ago, there was no business association in Fondren. Now there is an amazing group called the Fondren Association of Businesses, FAB, and 7 people that were never involved in community before heavily in Fondren are now running this organization that is strictly volunteer and are doing some amazing things and are working together to make a better reality for each of the individual shopkeepers that are in that business district. It took a lot of vulnerability for people to be honest about, helping each other. So in closing, as I promised to try to keep this short, we have limited resources, money-wise. We need to look to be able to work together to make things work. People bring different resources to the table when you're in a partnership. Some people are able to bring funds to the table. Some people can bring their contacts, their Rolodex, their networks. Some people can bring technical knowledge, the specifics of how to do something, a task or a process. Other people can bring creativity, the ability to see something and paint a picture that's something that you otherwise could not see. And then my favorite, it's the minority report. It's the person who speaks the truth to power. It's the person who is the little kid and the emperor has no clothes. It's the person who tells you that you're absolutely wrong. And if you're able to listen, you just might be successful. So, Working together works.